Welcome to Cognizant Unified Conferencing Platform. Enter your access code or meeting number followed by pound. Your entry 594325135 is not valid, or the meeting has not started yet. Re-enter your access code or enter your attendee ID number followed by pound. If you do not know your attendee number, press pound to continue.
Hello.
Srijesh, hold on a second, please.
Yeah, yes, sure.
Uday?
Yes, Shweta.
There was an interview scheduled on this bridge at 11.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay. Hello, Mahesh? Sorry, Srijesh, can you hear me clear now?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly now.
Okay, fine. I think this bridge was used for some other call and the interview scheduled on this. That's the confusion also. Okay. Fine. Shall we start with some of your career trends in the background to your career and everything?
Yeah, I have around 11 years experience in various Java J2E technologies, starting from core Java, JSP servlet, JSF. In each company, I have worked in different kind of a technology. In my last company also, I was interviewed for LifeRay technical guy, but I worked in other technology. So I worked in LifeRay, Magnolia, RESTful web services, SOAP web service, even UI side, jQuery, HTML, Dojo. Yeah, all these kind of technologies I have worked. Yeah.
Okay, so I see Spring web service.
Yeah.
And some UI and hypertext. Okay. Which versions of Spring have you worked on?
I think right now we are using the latest 4 version of Spring.
Okay. How about web services? Which implementation?
What implementation?
Which implementation of web service? RESTful?
Web service, RESTful Spring implementation of the RESTful web service.
Okay, Spring MVC plus RESTful support.
Threads I worked, yeah.
Okay, fine. How about designing? Have you done designing earlier?
Designing I have done in that LifeRay project because I am the guy who started that LifeRay in that company. It was startup company. So that was designed from scratch, that application. Yeah. Other than that, all other places, most of the things are already there in place.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Fine.
yeah.
You are aware that this is for an architect position, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Let's start with some prelim Java fundamentals.
Okay.
Have you worked on multi-thread environment anytime?
Yeah, I worked on multi-threading environment in bridge application. So it was kind of a bridge where it will always listen for particular port, and whenever it get a request, at that time it will search the request. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, in that case we have used multi-threaded. Otherwise, we are using.
Are you aware of?
Hello.
Yes, continue please.
Yeah, multi-threading anyway. It is used. We can see all the application, web application are multi-threaded only. In a way that we are not handling, but the servlet itself is handling.
Okay. Fine. What is countdown latch?
What?
What is countdown latch? Multi-thread environment.
I don't know.
Okay. How about cyclic barrier?
No, I haven't worked on this kind of thing.
Okay. Fine. Have you worked on distributed transaction management?
Distributed transaction like JMS or I have worked in some small JMS kind of an application.
Okay. What is two-phase commit?
Two-phase commit in database or?
Yes, database. In transaction terms.
In transaction, we can all these SQL queries are not auto commit, so mostly in the Java we manage the transaction using Hibernate, and there we will explicitly commit by keeping that it is false first, then we will commit.
Okay. What is composition?
In the object-oriented concept, it is like an object inside another object.
When do we go for composition? What are the scenarios?
Yeah. Because most of the cases we now go for composition in the loose coupling architecture. We go for composition rather than inheritance. Hello.
Okay.
To make it otherwise inheritance, it will be more tightly coupled.
Okay. What is the simplest and basic way of creating a singleton in core Java?
Now the best approach is using the enum.
Okay. What kind of enums have you created? Can you give me an example of it?
I haven't created singleton using enum. I have done that long back using that static factory, the static method, public static that method. So it will create only once. Like that I did long back in 2006 and all. But nowadays we create enum, but I haven't used that in any project yet because we are mostly concentrating on web application and we don't have any reason to use that. But I know how to create because I have done all these things.
Fine. When you're writing any code, what are the practices that would insist when you do code review? What are the points that you stuck in the code?
That tool, one tool in Eclipse that will, I forgot its name last week also, I used it to analyze. It will tell us whether we want to modify the code at the time of the writing itself. I forgot that tool name really. So based on that, we will refactor the code or we will make changes at that time itself. That is an analysis kind of a tool.
In case if you don't have any tool, you've been given to do code review, how do you go about? What all that you look at?
We will look at unnecessary creation of objects, and once the objects are created, whether it is once the end of that method, whether it is we put it to null or we are closing all the resources which are not used in finally block, and all these kind of things we need to check. Also, what are all the variables we are declared under as a common, those kind of things also we will check. And if it is used across multiple classes, we will put it in as a constant, like that. So
have you done custom exception handling in time?
Yeah,
that's fine. Okay, can you give me an example how and which exception have you managed and how did you create your own exceptions and everything?
We can extend the exception class and create our own exception. So it's kind of a business exception. In some scenarios we want to do that. So in that case I did. We will extend the IO exception or some kind of an exception which is there are chances to throw, and we will create.
Okay, why do we need custom exception?
To give some meaningful message so that the container will handle and process that. Otherwise it will end abruptly and we will not see the page that is intended to see. So to catch all these kind of business scenarios we do.
Right. Let me give you a scenario.
Okay.
Can you tell me how do you design this particular flow? Okay.
Okay.
Say there are some 5 or 6 HTTP sites from where you need to download the
HTTP.
Sorry,
hello.
You need to download some files.
Yeah, fine. You need to download some files from a browser.
SFTP site.
FTP.
Yeah, SFTP.
I'm not really not audible. It's kind of an FTP or HTTP.
SFTP.
Oh, SFTP. Okay. Okay, so using Java, you want to download a file using secure file transfer protocol.
Yes, and once all the files, mention number of files, say if you are given 5 clients location, then 5 files to be downloaded. Once 5 files are downloaded, the same file information has to be read line by line and inserted to database.
File needs to be read line by line and inserted to the database.
Yes.
File needs to be uploaded or downloaded because okay, you first want to download a file using Java and then using FTP, and then you want to read that file line by line, and that line should be inserted to a table, right?
Yes. So, how do you go about?
Yeah, the thing is that I haven't used this SFTP protocol first. Maybe in Java network thing, right now we are using HTTP and calling the RESTful web services. Same way, there may be, I think there is a way to get the file resource and we can download the content of the file and we can convert it into a byte array and after that we can read it line by line. Also, what kind of a file is it? Kind of a text file or it's kind of a text file?
What are all the things that you would? Sorry?
No, it's kind of a text file or what kind of a file it is, or Excel sheet or what?
Yeah, it's a fixed length file.
Fixed length text file, okay. So
how will you make sure that how all the 5 files are downloaded?
Yeah, that is, we will design it. It will run all the time, or it's kind of a scheduler kind of a thing, or what exactly this application is. So
okay, if for example, if I say that it's a scheduler which runs on every evening 6 o'clock.
Okay. No, in that case, what we will do is that whatever way we use, we will get that file, read it, and if there is any issue in downloading, we will send an alert email to the respective people, or otherwise if it is success also we will send the report in the end whether how much files are processed or what is the status of that. Like that we can handle.
Right.
Hello, once the job runs it will. Hello.
Yes.
Sorry, actually I am unable to hear you properly.
Okay, is it audible now?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah,
okay.
It's audible.
My question is, if you're being given this problem statement from then
Sorry?
that you will provide.
What exactly?
HOD.
Your voice is breaking in between.
Okay, what I'm asking, the high-level design, a low-level design document, what all will you prepare? What is the time?
Yeah, first it
will
be.
Into it.
Yeah, first it will be the. We will draw that flow diagram. Then go with that class diagram with documentation. So once it got approved, we will start the coding. First we will create the data flow diagram, then we will have the class diagrams what all required with details. After once it got approved, we will go for the coding.
How are you making sure that all the 5 files are downloaded? What is the technique that you are making?
Sorry, all the 5 files are downloaded.
How are you making sure that all the 5 files are downloaded?
That we can get it right once we use that protocol and get the files, read one by one. Anyway, I'm not sure how we are going to read because the file is already existing or that file is coming from different place and from which folder we are reading that and all. Even I am not clear yet, but anyway we will if it is based on date, we will read file on that particular which are created on that particular date or 5 files on that date, and if there is we will get the count of the files in while we are reading, right? or if there is any exception, we can say that this is not we are unable to download this.
Okay. Now that you downloaded the file, you have to write it to the database.
What? Downloaded the
file?
Hello?
But you are now ready to write it to the database.
Downloaded and writing to a database, right? What I feel is that we don't need to download the file. We will just read the file, and we don't need to put it in our server unnecessarily. We can read that file, and without downloading itself, we can save it into our table. We can read that using the new string reader or whatever, which is the latest buffered reader. You can read that text file using that, and that is also read line by line only. Read line, we can read line by line, and we can insert that data.
How will you track successful file completion? How will you track?
Successful.
Will you keep the SFTP?
No, we will not keep the SFTP open. We will just get that file and put it in instead of downloading. If it is a scheduler, we can put. If it is downloaded, we again need to read from our local, right? Instead of that, we can store it in a variable. It all depends on the size of the file also, whether the memory is supporting or whatever the size, or what is the hardware capacity. Based on that, we will decide. Hello. Hello. Hello.
File size will be huge because it is daily transaction file.
It's a daily file, right?
Yeah, daily transactions which are.
Yeah, what will be the size of the file? Hello.
Some gigabytes.
GBs, okay.
I can hear you clearly. I'm not sure whether.
Yeah, but I am unable to hear you.
Hear you clearly?
Because your voice is going down in between. Okay. Hello. Yeah. Hello.
Somebody, because it is going to be a very simple file.
Hello. Your voice is not coming properly. That is the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, this I can hear. Sometimes I can hear you, but hello.
Okay. Will take some time.
Hello, yeah.
It is not.
Actually, hello. Hello. I can hear something, but not at all clear or audible. Feeble voice.
Okay, let me rejoin. You be on the call. I'll rejoin.
Yeah, okay.
Hi, Vijay. Is it clear now?
Yeah, now it is clear.
Okay, fine.
What you were
okay, what I would...
Yeah.
When we read the file and when we are trying to write to the database, the file is much faster than writing to the database, right? Because it involves transactions.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the data structure you would prefer to use in between when we read the file line by line before it is being processed in putting into database?
Okay. This file contains we want to insert into a table with multiple columns or something like that.
Rows.
Rows. Only one.
Each.
Only
one row at a time.
Yeah, one column and multiple rows, right?
One column, multiple rows. Yeah, you can take it that way.
In the table, there is one column and n number of rows. So,
yeah, you can take it that way.
Yeah, we will read the file line by line using the buffered reader or some scanner. Scanner may be slow or maybe buffered reader is less. So we can put it in a array. Array is fine, I think, because that will be much more faster.
Can you think in terms of scalability? I'm telling you, it's in some gigabytes file. It is trillions and millions of data being read per file. So.
Okay, so we will instead of doing everything, we can do in table also there is an option to read first some n number of rows like that. We will read only that much kind of a thing from the file and we will do the transaction. That will be the best approach. Instead of reading the whole file at once, line by line, we will read some part of the file and then again from start of that part to next, and then we will continue that approach.
It's about reading the file, right, Shijesh?
Yeah.
What I'm asking is, if you read, say if you read 10 lines at a time and you're trying to insert 10 lines, the time taken to read 10 lines might be 10 milliseconds, whereas to insert it would be taking some double the time it took to read the file, right? In case if there is an issue with the database, there will be rollback. How would you manage that?
Even I have done this Excel processing and all. We will write line by one only because it's kind of a scheduler only. So at that time it was not a problem because it can be some 500 records or that much only, not millions of records. So even millions of records, I'm not sure how to. Instead of writing it one by one, we will write everything together, and that will be the best approach. That is what I feel. We will read things in parts, and while writing to the file, we will write everything together, or what the database can handle or what the JDBC or can handle at a time. That maximum we will keep it, and we will write like that to the table. Instead of writing 10 records or something, we will have that maximum lines that database can handle based on whether Oracle or whatever DB it is. We will write the maximum rows at a time, and like that we will move forward.
Okay. I just gave you a clue of using any data structure other than array list.
Yeah,
which one do you think?
I don't
Can
array.
Design pattern for such requirement?
Sorry?
Can you think of any design patterns for such requirement?
Which requirement? This file reading and writing.
Yes.
No, this it all based on this is simply the text file we are reading from SFTP and writing to the table, right? That's all the thing, or there are multiple kinds of files, or
okay. Yep. On that. Which all design patterns you are aware of?
I am aware of builder pattern, factory pattern, static factory, singleton, front controller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. What is an adapter pattern? Have you ever written adapter pattern?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Okay. What is a decorator?
Yeah, that also I have heard about, but I don't remember now.
Okay. You mentioned about builder, right?
Yeah.
So, what is a builder pattern and how would you implement it?
Yeah, that is sometimes required if a class having there are multiple variables and we want to you see if there some variables are optional and some are like that, if that is the scenario, we will create one more class inside that, and while creating the object we will use that method one by one that and set the value. If in a class if there are multiple variables, and if all the variables are not mandatory, in that case we will go with a builder pattern. Inside we will create a builder class and that different methods for each of the variable, and while creating the new instance of that itself we will have test class dot builder dot method 1 method 2 and pass the value to the variable. Like that we do.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Coming to strings.
String.
What is
Sorry?
strings?
STRING.
What is diagnosis?
Hello. String.
Spring.
Okay.
Spring framework.
IOC. Okay.
What is?
Yeah, this is no, that is basically a design pattern, which means we don't need to create an object by the program. It will be created by the framework. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so we want to just configure that, or we can use now these annotations.
Okay.
So the framework will create the objects for us.
Okay. What are stereotype annotations?
Stereotype.
Yeah.
I don't remember now.
Okay. In the basic way of creating a string B, we would give string B an ID and a class name.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, correct.
What is the default scope of this object that will get created?
Singleton.
Okay. So in case if I give ID as bean1, the class has some DAO. Okay. And if I try to create a bean with different types into of the same class, it is allowed in string.
You have created one bean with B1 and with one DAO, and then what you are doing?
Trying to create another object of the same DAO with this bean ID. Is it allowed?
This bean ID it will not allow. It should be a different ID.
Okay. In case if it is a different ID, is it allowed?
Yeah, it's allowed.
Okay. What is the difference between singleton of Spring and singleton of Java?
Yeah, that is a difference. I know that, but it creates only one in Java. It anyhow creates only one object, but in Spring it will create multiple objects in different scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but in Java,
What is it called?
Hello, in the Spring container, there can be multiple instances of that same class with the different IDs. Hello.
Then why is it called singleton?
Because in one class it is injected only once, while the Spring application is loaded. At that time, it's created only once and injection happening. Yeah, so when it is subsequently requested, it is not again creating a new instance of that. When that DAO class is called many times, also it is that instance is only once.
Okay. Have you done Hibernate?
Hibernate. I worked in
Hibernate.
I worked in Spring and Hibernate. That is for that. There is a now also you can see that in Sony website, sony.com.ar, those websites or Latin American websites are designed by. I am also a part of the team. So in that we are using the Hibernate as the backend. Yeah.
So how will you connect with Hibernate?
That until I don't remember. Those are one-time configuration that we did using. There are some HBM files for SQL queries and some Spring configuration files also we need to mention. Then there is a cache also there, so we can cache that method call. So only if there is any change it will come. Otherwise it will take it from the cache like that. I forgot all this configuration, but if required I can do.
Have you ever used any secondary cache?
Secondary cache in the sense?
Secondary cache.
EH cache, right? We have used.
Whichever. Which one did you?
Sorry, EH cache only I have used.
Okay. What is read through in cache?
I don't know that.
Okay. Are you aware of microservices?
Spring microservices, right? Spring I know about that because when I helped one guy when he was stuck in some problem, but I haven't gone through. He was facing some problem in some microservice code in that case. Once I helped. Other than that, I don't have any working knowledge.
Okay. And coming to UI, you mentioned about Dojo and some other frameworks as well, right?
Correct. I worked around 1.5 years completely in UI for one Cisco project.
Okay. Yeah. So, what are the widgets that you worked on in Dojo?
Dojo, I have worked on all those things, but I found that Dojo is very, very slow. So now the Cisco itself started migrating from Dojo to other DHTMLs, and now all their applications are using Angular as the front end instead of Dojo. So even one Dojo grid we use. Hello?
Yeah.
In Dojo, the one grid we used, okay, and that grid is having millions of records, so and it is hanging. So I have developed my own grid using pure HTML and jQuery. I have done that part also with using around 3 to 6 months time, I developed my own grid for them because it needs add row, delete row, many functionalities we need in a grid. In the Dojo grid, those are not possible. When we add a row, also it is adding in the end of that grid. That means we need to go to the end. If there are 100 pages, we need to go to the 100 page to see that row. Whereas they need a new row uh, just below that one row. We will right click and create a new row just below that. For those kind of functionality, we found that Dojo is not helpful. Also, application with the Dojo, that UI is very slow. So I am not that much. I worked in Dojo, but I feel that technology is not good. So we.
So
hello.
Which version of Angular?
Angular I have in the work because we have a different Angular team. I didn't work in, but jQuery, JavaScript, and Dojo and DHTML, that's also I worked. Angular, they have new people came to our project to work in Angular because they want some resource with Angular knowledge.
Okay, let's get into some primary Ajax understanding.
Okay.
How does the Ajax work?
Ajax is asynchronous call because it won't refresh the whole page. It will send a request to the backend and just refresh only the specified area. Long back, even in 2008 or so, I did Ajax using DWR, some technology in Java. But after that, in JSF, there is another job called Ajax for JSF. Using that, we can do Ajax. And now in jQuery, we can use that. Yeah.
Let's get to the preliminary Ajax concept. So when you hit the request, once you get the response back, right? Yeah. We decide based on some codes. The status codes. What all are available? What are the basic status codes of Ajax response? Ajax response. Yeah.
When in our project, what we are using is that we are getting JSON response with it will be 200 OK. That is the status that we can see in the, if we press the network tab in that itself, we can see. Also, we can there is a callback method in Ajax, so we will do our logics and all in the callback method once we hit that request. If it's a success or failure, we can see that. If it's a success, we will do our logic. Otherwise, we will display that message over there.
Okay. I'm only concerned about the basic Ajax status code, not the HTTP status codes.
Okay,
are you aware of Ajax status codes?
Status codes, I think I am not aware. I am more into that that callback functions of Ajax and all. Status codes, I think I didn't check also.
Callback functions are decided based on the status codes.
Yeah. That even
Fine.
Yeah.
No issues. How about data structures? What all data structures have you extensively used?
All array list, maps, linked list, then
in a concurrent environment, which data structure have you used?
There are concurrent hash maps or
okay, how different is concurrent hash map from synchronized map?
Internal working is different for concurrent hash map and maps. So it is designed to make work two things together or multiple things together.
Yeah. Can you get into details of internal work?
I'm concurrent. I don't right now remember.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Also, there are long back all these having synchronized the method, but nowadays as it's a slow, we are not going for that. Instead of we are using this kind of concurrent hash map. Otherwise, it was having in Java we are using hash table or something, right? On olden times. But I forgot the implementation of the concurrent hash map.
Fine. Are you aware of Java concepts?
Java?
8 concepts?
Java 8 only we are working, but we are using a little bit of only in that, like streams, then lambdas. Only very less thing we are using. Even comes up with some cleaners or something, but I don't know whether we need to use that. Yeah, some of the features I have used, not all.
Okay. One last. What's the connection between Lambda expression and functional programming?
Yeah, it is. Java is now becoming more like a functional programming like Scala. Even I worked a little bit in Scala, so I found Java also got inspiration from Scala and introduced the Lambda expression. So the debugging in the Lambda expression I found is little bit difficult. Otherwise, it is if we know it is easy to use. Hello.
Yes.
Like filtering and all, or grouping some from custom objects, we can group some data and all like that. Even using instead of comparator, we can use Lambda expression like that. I have used in some places.
Okay. Okay, Sujesh. I'm done with my questions. Do you have any?
No, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.